El actor Evan Peters aportó mucho drama y oscuridad a su papel como Jeffrey Dahmer. Y si bien la serie de Netflix ha sido todo un éxito, en gran parte es debido al buen trabajo del actor de 35 años. Para protagonizar la serie Monstruo, la historia de Jeffrey Dahmer, Peters explicó que quería dar el 120% y meterse de lleno en el personaje, pero que después agradeció el volver a sentirse capaz de respirar una vez que terminó su interpretación. En una conferencia de prensa organizada en Los Ángeles, en donde estuvieron presentes el director de la serie, Ryan Murphy, la actriz que interpreta a Glenda Cleveland, Niecy Nash y el propio Evan Peters, el actor contó cómo fue su largo proceso de preparación para interpretar a Dahmer.
You sent it to me and I read it, and first of all, the writing was brilliant, and I was terrified. I really went back and forth on whether I should do it or not. I knew it was going to be incredibly dark, an incredible challenge. But you recommended that I watch the Dateline Stone Phillips interview, and in that you really see how he speaks about what he did, and I was fascinated by that, and I wanted to dive into the psychology of that extreme side of human behavior. So I read as many books as I could, psychology reports, confessions, timelines, all in an attempt to try to understand why he did what he did. And then, of course, there was the physical.
Yeah, talk about the physicality, because at one point you wore lead weights around your arms and you wore lifts in your shoes and you practiced that walk. And you basically stayed in this character, as difficult as it was, for months.
Yeah, I mean, we did 4 months of prep, 6 months of shooting, and he's a very straight back. He doesn't move his arms when he walks, so I put weights on my arms to see what that felt like. I wore the character's shoes with lifts in it, his jeans, his glasses. I had a cigarette in my hand at all times. I wanted all this stuff, these external things, to be second nature when we were shooting.
Ahora, algo gracioso es cómo cuentan que Peters estaba tan metido en su personaje que por momentos ya no actuaba como él mismo.
Interestingly enough, this is one of the first times we've all gotten together, and the other night, Niecy went up to Evan and said, "Evan Peters, nice to meet you," even though they had worked together for months, because Niecy, you can talk about that. Like, it was, yeah, Evan was so deep in character.
So deep in character. People will say, "What is Evan like?" And I'm like, I don't know the man. Because in his process, I respected his need to keep the distance and the tension so that it played out on screen as because I'm coming in initially like, "Hey, how you doing? Good morning," and he was like, "Oh, no, ma'am," and so I was like, "Oh." And then I realized, I said, "Oh, he's in his process."
¿Y cómo logras salir? ¿Cómo logras desapegarte de la manera de hablar, de caminar y de todas las manías de una persona que tan bien has interiorizado? Pues Evan Peters lo logró de esta forma.
Everybody always thinks of Evan as dark and brooding, and I'm like, absolutely not. Evan is hilarious. He's spent Thanksgivings at my house. My children have sat on his knee. He's such a lovely guy. But can you talk about it? It was a big responsibility, but coming out of it, what did you do?
Yeah, it was, doing the role, I wanted to give it 120% the whole way through, so I brought in a lot of darkness and negativity, and so really it was just having that end goal in sight, knowing when we were going to wrap, and finally being able to breathe and let it go and say, okay, now it's time to bring in the joy and the lightness and watch comedies and romances and go back to St. Louis and see my family and friends and watch Step Brothers,
Evan Peters, me and you in a rom-com right after this.
Oh, I'm down. I think having the end goal in sight, knowing that the project is going to be finished, pacing it out, I think was helpful. I have all sorts of different things that I do in my everyday life to keep me happy, functioning, a normal person. It's at the end of the day, it is a job, and you sort of have to compartmentalize. And so I think, when I go home, sometimes it's or rather after the shoot, it was comedies and lighthearted things, songs, music, making music. So all those things really help to keep me afloat.
St. Louis?